how to manage a successful property refurb project. Okay, I am going to tell you all about it today in this video, so make sure you watch this video to the end. I'll give you 10 valuable tips what can make or break your property refurb project. Okay, so watch the video, and if you like the content, do subscribe to the channel as well, and press the like button, smash the like button, it helps me a lot. Okay, so let's dive straight into the video, friends. 10 things where you need to be careful of when you're actually running a property development project, whether it's a refurb, whether it's a new build, whatever you're doing. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first tip. Number one, always remember that when you're doing a project, when you're going to buy a project, a piece of land or a house, know the end figure first, okay, which is called the GDV, gross development value of your project. You need to work that out, number one, first of all. So once you know that figure, you know that value, you can work your way backwards to what your initial costs are going to be, what profit you want to pull out of that particular project, and so how much your builders are going to charge you, what's going to be the cost of holding the property for how long. So all these things you can only work out if you know the end value. Okay, and in order to find the end value, you need to be very good with finding the property prices in the area, finding the land prices in the area, and then you can achieve the GDV, okay, gross development value of any project. All right, so that's the first thing you need to remember, first thing you need to know in your journey to be a property developer. Okay, the second thing, you need to, when you find a builder, you need to agree the terms and conditions with your builder first. Okay, keep all the records, write all the records down, make sure everything's written down in black and white, so you know, and the builder knows. So you got a copy, the builder's got a copy, you know what they're supposed to do, they know what they're supposed to do. Otherwise things can get really muddled up towards the middle of the project, and you start getting frustrated that things are not being done the way you wanted to do them. The builders will get frustrated because you'll be asking them to do one thing, they'll be doing another, then you'll go in back and say this hasn't been done. They would say they don't know because you never gave us any schedule of works, we don't know what's going on. Okay, so make sure everything is written down, the terms are agreed with the builder, the time scales agreed with the builder, obviously the figures are the cost is gonna be agreed anywhere, but that's all written down as well. The time scale when you're gonna pay the builder is agreed, so everything is in that terms and conditions. Okay, don't forget that. That's a second valuable tip, okay, of this the whole project management thing. All right, number three tip is that don't let your project stop or delay because you're looking for cheaper options. Like for example, you're looking for a cheaper, say your builder can't do the roof work and you're looking for a cheaper roofer. Okay, and the roofer, 2 roofers, 3 roofers give you a quote for £7,000-8,000, and you're looking for somebody, you want to go for somebody close to £6,000, and you're trying to call hundreds of different roofers in the area. Don't do that. All right, you went to buy radiators, for example, and the radiators are for £120 per radiator, just an example, right? And you think that you can get them from £100 somewhere else, so you wasted a day or two just sourcing those things. And don't forget, your project's delaying, so you're losing the money anyway. All right, so the longer you leave the project, the more delay it's gonna cause. All right, so that's the third valuable tip. Don't delay your project in order to find cheaper alternatives. All right, number 4, don't always go and search for a builder who's cheap. All right, cheap builders normally will cut corners. I've known that from my own past experience in this trade for nearly 10 years now. Cheap builders will always give you cheap finish as well. All right, always remember that. I'm not saying that you have to find the most expensive builder in the world, okay, but don't always try to look for those cheap builders and those cowboys. You don't want that. Okay, you want proper people who know what they're doing, especially if you was turning a house into HMO, change of use. Okay, They gotta know the rules of regulations a little bit themselves as well, although you gotta know them all yourself. As a manager, as a developer, you gotta know all those rules and regulations. It's your responsibility to study about that before you actually jump into any project, but the builders gotta know a little bit as well, right? So don't go for cheaper, don't look for cheaper builders that, oh, I can get it done £1,000 cheaper. You can probably save £1,000, £2,000 hiring a cheaper builder, but in the long run you will lose out, because most of the time they wouldn't know what they're doing, what's going on. Okay, so that's tip number 4. Number 5 tip: all the refurb deals are not good deals. All right, all the old properties, all the cheap properties you're gonna get from the market, which is run down, probate property, or it's been repossessed, it's been empty for too long, they're not all good deals. All right, so always do your due diligence of the area first in order to find good deals. Don't just go blindly and say, okay, oh, that house is up for £150,000, all right, and it looks really run down. So we can do lots of work to it. We can put a new roof on it, we can put new double glazing, new garden drive, and we're going to add value to it. But then you realize that the ceiling price in the area is only roughly around £200,000. So you have actually wasted a lot of money. You've spent a lot of money, all right, and you're not going to get your money back. So all refurbing deals are not good deals. All old houses will not give you profit once you refurb them. Always remember that. Okay, so number 6: if someone's got a planning permission on a piece of land, or they got planning to extend the property, and you can just go and buy that plot of land with planning, all right, or a house with planning permission to have a dormer extension at the back, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make money out of that deal. Okay, that deal is not just profitable. Some deals are not profitable. Even with a plot of land, you could end up spending hundreds of thousands of pounds to buy it with planning on it, but then once you built it, with all the build costs, especially with the cost of materials and everything rising up now, going up, doesn't mean that it's a profitable deal. All right, so always be careful of that. That's a very important tip, that every plot of land with planning permission is not a profitable deal. You will lose your money if you don't do your due diligence properly. Okay, for example, plot of land with the planning to build, say, a bungalow on it, and first of all you need to know how many bungalows are in the area. All right, how many bungalows are in the area, what their end value is, what their price is, how many has been sold in the past, and which you can relate to and find out. But if you don't have all this information and you go and buy the plot of land with the planning for a bungalow on it, and you're gonna but you're not gonna make any profit on it, then it's not a profitable deal. So always remember to do your due diligence before you buy a piece of land or a house with planning permission coming with it. That is it gonna be worth it to spend so much money to make that planning permission, add that to the building, or build a new property? Are you going to make any profit out of it? So always work backwards and work your figures first. So that was the first point, remember? Okay, number 7: schedule of works. SOW is called sometimes. Schedule of works is very important. Always have that ready. Always make that for every project. So because then you know yourself what you need to do, the time scale how it's going to take, what time, what should be done. Give that to your builder as well, a copy of that, because then your builder knows what's going on. It comes to the same as having agreed terms and conditions. Tip number 2. Okay, so tip number 7 is always have schedule of works. And if you haven't got schedule of works, you're not going to know what you're doing. Your builder's not going to know what you're doing, and then there's going to be trouble. All right, we have had that in the past, in the beginning of our projects, when we think, okay, we have got everything lined up, but the schedule of works, it has to be there. All right, then you can run a project smoothly. Then you can follow up with your builder that, look, this was a schedule of works, this has not been done yet. So if you haven't got schedule of works, it's all in the words are in the air, it's not going to work. All right, so that's a very good tip. Okay, if you have to outsource your work, all right, and don't try to do everything yourself. All right, you can't do all the work yourself, and You can't, if your builder can't do something and you trying to think, okay, we can just do it, just trying to do it. No, if they can't do it properly, don't let them do it. All right, give that work to someone else, outsource that work. All right, you need to get the professionals in and get all the work done. All right, don't try to cut corners and trying to have that work done from, okay, he doesn't exactly know how to do it, but he can do it, let's just let him do it. No, it will not work for your project. Your project will fail. You will end up spending more to rectify that cowboy work than what you would have initially spent on having outsourcing that work to someone else. Okay, and the planning drawings your architect has made, the builders can't exactly work off that. Okay, you need the building regs as well. You need the building regs, drawings and everything as well for the whole project to run, to be made properly, what they need doing. The builder can't just look from the planning drawing and say, okay, there's going to be a dormer there, but what about the length, what about the width, what about the height, what about the legality of the whole thing? All right, you need to be very important to know that. Okay, so that was our tip number 9. Okay, and then the final tip, which is the most important one, is that if you haven't got time on your hands and you're running around, rushing around, managing the projects and telling the builders what to do, and then going and say, if you got a job on the side, you're doing your job as well, things are going to get lot muddled up. You're going to burn yourself out as well. So most important tip number 10 is always have a project manager. If you don't know what you're doing, have a project manager. You invest into the investment, the project manager will give you the end product. Okay, because they know what they're doing, what they're talking about. That's why we manage a lot of properties for a lot of people, a lot of projects, and we give them the finished project, the key at the end, so they can have the investment and go ahead and do whatever they want to do with it. Okay, so these were the 10 most valuable tips what I've learned in my 10 years of property developments. That these 10 tips will help you guys to really go ahead and move faster in your property journey. Okay, so I hope you like the content, and I will keep bringing you more content, more valuable content like this. And if you do like my work, please always leave comments, likes, smash the like button, and join the channel. Okay, God bless you all and keep working hard.